Thank you for joining us for the first in a series of webinars that we are calling The Art of the Possible. Before we go a little deeper into the series, I would like to set the agenda for today's webinar. We'll take you through the day-to-day life of a new citizen and entrepreneur in the town of Aegean. We will provide a few examples that represent realistic experiences that a citizen or a business owner might encounter on any given day and for whatever reason when attempting to interact with their local government. We'll have a live demonstration so you can experience the art of the possible with the hopes that you will infer how this might be applicable to your own municipality. Then we'll take a few minutes to lift the covers and describe the technology that we have demonstrated, followed by a Q&A. We expect to wrap up within 30 minutes from now. But before we start, we have a few housekeeping items to cover. This webcast will be recorded for future use. We'll post it on our website or our YouTube channel. The second half of this two-part webcast is entitled Connect with Your People. This session will build upon today's presentation, but from a government user's perspective. Feel free to share this recording with your peers prior to joining us for our next session. All of your lines will be muted until the end of the presentation to prevent any background noises. We have allocated time at the end of the presentation for your questions, and we will unmute all the lines at that time. Throughout this presentation, you will have the ability to send a chat at any time. We will either immediately address your questions if it's a quick answer, or table the question till the end of the presentation. The Art of the Possible series is designed to be first and foremost informative and educational in nature. Except when appropriate, we will not zero in on a specific product. Our focus is on the concepts, not the components. We value your time and appreciate that you've carved out time for us. We all have full schedules, written to-do lists, and reminders that can take many forms, and we promise not to pull you away from that with lengthy presentations. Our goal is to limit each session to 30 to 45 minutes, including time for Q&A. If you already have a system in place, just embrace what we present and determine how what you see can be applied to your current office, enhance or expand what you currently have in place. And finally, if you do not have a solution in place, or maybe you're looking on how to apply these concepts that you see today within your current environment, we would like you to include Aegean CX into your shortlist for future considerations. After all, we are a solutions company. Today's webcast is entitled Connect with Your City, and it is focused on the value that a citizen or local business could or would realize when interacting with their local government. We will see examples of a citizen interacting with a town at any time, just like they can do with their bank or favorite online retailer. We will show you how easy it is to find the right answer every time, regardless of who the citizen speaks with or the channel that they choose to use. We will see how it is possible to pinpoint a location by typing it in, dropping a pin, or letting the device do the work on your behalf. Through automation, we will show you how forms no longer need to be printed, filled out, and hand-delivered to a department or individual for approvals and data entry. And then we'll show you a few more things. But first, a little background on Aegean. Aegean CX Solutions is an Australian firm that went global last year. We started off as a national systems integrator focused on data warehousing and ERP solutions, and our clients span 3 different industries. Today, you'll be hearing from 2 people. I'm Lynn Winter, Director of Sales for North America, and I'm the one without the accent. Joining me is Steve Solomon, the Chief Executive Officer for Aegean CX Solutions, and our email details are shown here if you'd like to reach out to either of us directly. You'll be hearing from Steve shortly as we drill down into the live portion of the webinar. So now I would like to welcome you to the mythical town of Aegean. Aegean is a town that we've imagined and is the basis of our demonstration site. We've quantified the size and population of the city. We've added a mayor, a council, and key personnel. To demonstrate a realistic encounter, we modeled Aegean from the geographic perspective after Chapel Hill, North Carolina. We chose Chapel Hill because the city has an open GIS and all the necessary coordinates are published. You will see that we have used this public data for a number of our examples that leverage geo-pinpointing. Now, all the addresses are real, but any of the names, emails, and or phone numbers utilized in our demonstration are fictitious. Any identifying similarities to individuals or businesses are unintentional and purely coincidental. So now it's time to meet Roger. Roger just finished his MBA program from a prominent state university and moved to Mageeville to start his new business venture. Roger researched a number of towns and chose Mageeville because he felt this town has invested in the tools that he might need to request services or get information for his new home and business. He saw that he, as a citizen and business owner, could interact with the city at any time, day or night. He also liked the fact that this town did not make him download different apps for his iPhone, his Android tablet, or his laptop. And by the way, Roger has a dog, and the dog is going to be important in one of our scenarios. As we go through the live demo, Roger will be able to use his mobile phone, tablet, or computer to report something that he sees, to look up information, or to make a request. Roger will be able to leverage a geolocation feature on his device, or override it once again by dropping a pin or typing an address. And that information can be validated against the town's own GIS system. Roger will be able to find the information he seeks without having to filter through a list of irrelevant information, and Roger will be able to make a request and know that it will automatically get to the right person and the right department. He no longer will have to scan the town's department directory to find the email or telephone number and hope he's dialing into the right office. Roger will be able to plan his business launch party at the town facility and pay for the rental at the end of the reservation process. And he can do this all at a time that's convenient to him. And then we'll see Roger registering a pet in a similar fashion to the way he filed and received his new business permit license for the town. And this leads us to what is possible. The phrase "connect with your city" is all about a citizens or business owners' experience with a local government office. And this is Roger's day. And it's my pleasure to introduce Magea CX Solutions CEO, Stephen Solomon. But before he takes control of the mouse, I would like to remind you that if you have any questions, please send us a chat. Steve?
Thanks, Glenn. Okay, thank you, and welcome everybody. Appreciate you taking the time to attend today's webinar. As we outlined, Roger made the decision to move to the city of Mageeville and set up his new business based on how easy it was for him to interact with the city. In today's session, we're going to look at 3 different citizen transactions to highlight the art of the possible. To set the scene, we start off here at the citizen portal. The city has designed this to make finding information and transacting with them simple and intuitive. With its integrated knowledge and advanced search capabilities, citizens can find information most relevant to what they need. The application has the ability to search across multiple repositories like websites, file systems, and other internal knowledge sources, enabling the city to utilise existing information as part of the process. The portal can be configured to look like any city's website, whereby it can be simply embedded as a page or run as a completely separate or independent application, making it a cohesive experience for the city, for the citizen when visiting the website. The Google Map integration that we see here shows open requests for the city and includes details around the city's boundaries. Citizens can see current requests that are being managed by the city to provide transparency. So, in the first of our examples, Roger's just finished work for the day and decided to take his dog Buddy for an evening walk. Whilst walking down the street, he noticed that one of the street lights was broken, making it very dark. Roger had seen previously in the city's portal that it provided online capability to report issues. So Roger pulls out his mobile phone, which we're going to simulate. Through its native browser, he connects to the city's portal. So the portal component of the application is device aware and responsive. Therefore, there's no need for the city to have separate web or mobile applications. Roger goes to the search bar and he types in streetlight and is returned a list of specific answers. So the knowledge articles can also be linked to product and categories to make it easy for searching capability. So in this case, Roger could have also looked at municipal repairs and maintenance, and under road maintenance, if you look at street lighting. Roger sees that he has the ability to report an issue, so he clicks on the link. So this particular article is set up such that the city requires that Roger be logged in to get specific details about the citizen as part of the process. This could also be done as an anonymous process, but Mageeville wants you to be registered. So Roger has the ability to log in utilising his social details, but he's already set up an account with the city. This process uses an interview flow and it guides the citizen through the information that is required. This is dynamic based on the responses selected, and the process will determine what information is asked next, meaning the citizen only has to provide any information that is relevant. We'll see how this is used in some more complex processes later, where we show how it can be used to eliminate things like PDF forms or static web forms. So in this case, Roger wants to report a damaged streetlight. Now, the city head provides the option to validate his location in 3 ways. He can automatically detect his location, which uses the mobile or core location services, the ability to select or drop a pin on the map. If the city, or if your city is using GIS application, for example, something like Esri, this can be integrated for more granular detail. For example, if the city had streetlights stored with geolocations, light pole numbers, these could also be added to enable the citizen to provide more accurate information when reporting. The last alternative is the physical street address. In the city of Mageeville, all property data has been integrated into the system, which enables us to include data like property IDs, LBCS codes, occupancy classes, the name a few. In this case here, Roger's going to select based on a pin on a map. So Roger's provided a list. He can then scroll into his area, move his actual pin to the area that he wants to notify. You'll see that it also selects the property address by doing a reverse lookup using the geolocation. Roger is also able with Google Maps to view a street view of that location to make sure that he's reporting it in the correct place. In this case here, Roger provides details to say that the lap is cracked or broken. The city also has asked for additional information, of which Roger says that, tells the city that the issue has been in place since he moved in. He can also provide additional information in regards to the process, including photos, whereby Roger has taken a photo on his mobile phone and he's going to attach it to the request. After this process, Roger submits his request to the city and he's provided details at the end which says that this is where he's reported the issue and he's been provided a request number. Now, Roger, in addition to this, Roger has requested notifications by email, which we can see here for the request that Roger has just logged. In this, these template emails can be configured to different request types, enabling the city to provide specific information to the citizen as and when required. From here, within the application, Roger also has details about his account. In the account view, Roger can see all of the requests that he has logged with the city and can provide details or update information through this process. In addition to this, Roger has posted information onto the city's community board and shows information that he has done. He also has animals registered and he has a property in the city. So all the pertinent information about Roger's interactions with the city can be seen through this process. This is configurable and other information can be added as and if required. So at the end of this process, Roger was able to interact with the city at a time convenient to him on his mobile device, find the information that he needed and submit his service request to the city, enabling them to have all the information needed. So that's the first of our examples. The second scenario that we're going to look at today is Roger wanting to book an event within the city. Having been in the city for a couple of weeks, Roger wants to run an event to promote his business. It's Sunday afternoon, Roger is sitting on the sofa watching the game when he decides to see if the city has a venue available for his event. So Roger grabs his laptop and heads to the Aegean portal. Roger's not sure where to look at, so he does a search for event. He's provided a list of answers, and it has one here which says, how do I make an event booking? Roger clicks on this. He's provided with a couple of options on how he can search for specific facilities. So Roger decides he wants to look on a map because he wants to see what's close to his office and where his customers are. Roger logs in. He's then provided with a detail of a list of all of the facilities within the city. Roger's office is near the museum, so he's able to click in. He sees that there's a number of different facilities. He looks at each of the facilities and he sees that the community centre has a conference room which meets his specific requirements for capacity and also has the right budget. So Roger could alternatively look through this by selecting the search filters at the side. So he's looking for a private function, he wants it to be indoors, and he's expecting that it's going to be 60 people. From here, Roger can then select on the particular facility, and it takes him actually to be able to book his event. From here, it has defaulted the information from his original search. Now, one of the alternatives that he could do through this process is if it was a recurring event, for example, if he wanted to book, the local baseball team wanted to book a field of practice for the season, this could also be catered for using it. At this point, Roger moves through. He can see a calendar for that particular facility. He has the ability to click on a link, which shows him details about the facility. This is stored within a knowledge base article, and therefore the city can update information as and when required. So from within here, he can also see, based on selected dates, if this facility has already been booked. Roger selects the date, clicks next. The details actually like which are shown on the screen provide transparency for Roger and tells him information about what the booking cost is prior to doing his booking. At this point, he is also shown a list of terms and conditions for his booking, of which Roger can agree to and can digitally sign. From this process, the city also provides an integrated payment process of where he can provide online, and he has the option to pay with his credit card. Roger uses his corporate credit card because he wants the details to be against his business. Roger submits his payment. His application is finalised, and at the end, he receives an event booking invoice which shows the relevant information for his booking. So at this point, Roger was able to book his event in his own time whilst never leaving the comfort of his sofa or missing the second of the game. Through the interactive mapping and guided interview, he was easily able to complete the process in one single transaction without having to contact the city office. The city in this case was able to provide a great user experience, generate revenue without the need for a staff member to interact with Roger, which in this case he would have had to wait to Monday, given that it was Sunday afternoon. In the final example that we'll go through today, and referring back to Len's initial commenting about his dog, Roger, as part of moving to the city, has been very busy getting his business established. So he's decided over the holidays to get another dog to keep Buddy company whilst he was at work. He needs to find out what he needs to do to register him to the city. So Roger jumps on the Magia portal to find out what he needs to do. Roger goes through and searches for pets, and he sees a link which enables him to register his pet. The registration asks Roger for details about his dog, about his pet. Roger has got a dog. His dog is Daisy. She's a female. And you will notice here as part of these dynamic interviews that gender-based terms can be interactive, such that as a female, it is spayed, and a male needs to be neutered. In this case, he's had her spayed, and he's also included a microchip, which he can provide to the city. The city at this point also requests that he has additional information from his vet around the sterilisation and microchip. So in this case, Roger has got information from his vet ready to be able to upload. However, the solution provides the ability to create checkpoints within the process, such that at this point, if Roger didn't have that information, the next time he came back to the portal, he would be able to pick up from where he left off without having to re-enter information. In this case here, Roger's going to upload the details. The city also requires that he be a resident of the city in order to register. As we know who Roger is, we validate, say, is this where you would like us to register this pet? In this case, Roger says yes, but if he said no, he would be provided additional detail in order to update his information. Again, at the end, Roger is provided a detailed list of how he's been calculated, or how his fees have been calculated for his registration. As Roger is heading into the city tomorrow to drop off some plans for his new office, he's decided that he's going to pay this in person. At this point, he can submit his registration. He's provided details at this point on where he needs to go to, including information about his request. He's also provided a registration invoice, which includes other pertinent information about it. As part of this process, we've included a barcode such that when Roger heads into the city, it can be scanned and payment attached to his specific request. Now, one of the things that we've looked at as far as this process is concerned is how some other cities are managing this process. So the Magia office is based in the city of Fairfax in Virginia, which has a population of around 24,000 people. So we had a look to see what the process was for registering a pet in this particular area. So we've done a bit of a recording here, which I'll just quickly run through. So you see in the case of the city of Fairfax, when we do a search, we get a number of different options, but not the one specific to that we're looking for. So in this case, I have to go and do another search looking for pet registration, which provides me a list and says, yes, here is an application. Provides me details about the application, but I have to download a static form in order to fill this information in. In this case here, I have to fill out all the details about myself, which in Roger's case, he doesn't have to do. In addition to that, the only way he can pay this is to send it in, do it by person or send it through in the mail. Obviously, that doesn't provide a seamless experience for the citizen. In addition to that, we looked at the city of Fairfax County, which has a population of around 1 million people. Again, in this process, we had to do more than one search in order to find the information that we were looking for. Once we get to here, we have the ability to get our registration, but again, it's through a manual form. The form, again, is an enterable form, but we have to enter information again that the city already knows if I agree with it. They do provide the ability to do a payment online. This takes you out to another separate site. However, the process for payment online is only available for renewals. So in Roger's case, he would have had to do this as a manual process. So heading back here to our customer portal. To summarise, they're the three scenarios that we're going to go through in today's seminar. So Roger was able to find all the information he needed when interacting with the city through the power of the knowledge base. The ability for Roger to transact or report issues at a time that suited him meant he didn't have to need to take time out to go or to call the city office. Not only was it a great experience for Roger, the city was able to generate revenue with no effort. We hope you found this information informative, and Len, I shall hand back to you to summarise up.
All right. Thanks very much, Steve. And let me just share my desktop. So here's a brief overview of what you had just seen. The base offering is crafted on top of a world-class cloud service management platform and bundled with policy automation and knowledge management. Each petal will deliver specific capabilities or functionality, like the citizen portal as part of the community experience, and tailored dashboards and tools for the internal experiences. Aegean has developed additional tools to simplify the configuration and the administration of the solution. And a system with all this capability should not be an island. The strength of the solution grows through the integration with other applications, agencies, and institutions. Some of these connections can be addressed out of the box, and more complex integrations will require additional tools. And finally, but not last, actionable requests need action taken. The system can generate standard field service requests within the system or through a cloud integration service connect to most of the dedicated field service tools currently available on the market today. Aegean allows our clients to start small and grow as your town wants to offer new services. Each of these modules will either lower the government's transactional costs or provide the means to drive new revenue streams from areas such as permits and licensing, special events, and perhaps even increase the tax revenues as property values increase with the draw of new residents and businesses and visitors. The system is meant for growth. As new municipal initiatives are adopted, the Aegean CX solution is flexible and open to accept these. Before we open up the lines for questions, I'd like to remind you about our follow-up session, Connect with Your People. Like this one, it will run about 35 minutes, and all of the business flows that you saw today will be carried over to the next session. So I'll unmute your lines now and see if there's any questions. Do we have any questions from the fields?
Hi, Len. Can you explain the difference between today's webinar and next week's webinar?
Oh, sure. So today what we were able to show you is that the experience of the citizen. So how can a citizen make requests, find information, interact to get services, to find information that would be offered from their local municipality. So next week, what we're going to be able to show is what a government worker, what their experience would be. How do they manage those requests internally? How we can see a request come in, get routed to the right individual. We'll also have additional insights on some of the geo mapping so that we can do some push information and push notifications out to the community. Steve, anything else you want to add?
No, that pretty much will covers it. So the series for next one is looking at the government worker. And obviously, like the process, we've tried to make the simple for the citizen. We also want to make the process simple for those people inside the government using it.
And we'll also spend a little bit of time looking at some different types of dashboards for the contact agent, first line, and we'll see a couple of other dashboards that a manager or supervisor would look at.
Hey, Len, is the link going to be the same for next week, or is it a separate invite and separate link?
We'll provide out a separate invitation for the next series. For those people that have attended today, we'll send one to you with like for you to sign up for again.
Great, thanks.
So open to any more comments or questions. All
right, well then, what I'd like to do in respect of the time that we set forth is conclude our session. So on behalf of Steve, I'd like to thank you for your participation. If you would like some more information or want to schedule a session specifically for your office, please contact us at sales@megiacx.com. Alternatively, if you have an Oracle representative, you can reach out to them as well, and they will coordinate with us. We will post this session shortly to our website. We will publish the URL to everybody who has signed up, and we'll also include a very brief survey regarding this session, get your feedback, and also solicit some ideas from you for some future topics and future sessions. So without any more questions, I'd like to thank you and hope to see you all next week.
Thank you, everybody, and we hope you enjoy your day.